I got a new hat at the Newport County shop and I walked back through John Frost Square. The square was built in 1977 and remodelled in 2014 as this smaller space. But who was this John Frost? And why is this place and even a school named after him? John Frost was born in Newport in 1784 and brought up by his grandparents. He was a draper and a tailor, and he had a shop here in Newport, spent time in jail over a disagreement about a debt in a will, then became mayor of Newport. But it's what he did next that immortalised him. The Chartists wanted voting rights for working people, and after their 6-point charter written in 1838 submitted to Parliament with over 1 million signatures was rejected by the House of Commons, the movement became militant. Frost had effectively been elected leader, and it was he who headed the march on the 4th of November 1839 to the Westgate Hotel in Newport, where armed soldiers were posted. Shots were fired and at least 20 of the 1,000-strong crowd were dead and many more wounded. Frost was captured later that evening. He was sentenced to be hung, drawn and quartered, but swayed by public opinion, Frost was transported to Tasmania instead to serve 10 years hard labour. He was 54. Eventually granted a full pardon, he toured America speaking on political reform and then came back to Newport in 1856, proclaiming to a cheering crowd that he still stood for radical reform and was not a changed man. He settled here in Bristol, continuing his involvement in educational reform and workers' rights, and lived to see some of the Chartist reforms achieved. Frost died at 93, buried in Bristol. His grave was rediscovered by Newport historian Richard Frame and given a new headstone in 1986. That's Richard Frame and Labour's Neil Kinnock at the unveiling. The original headstone is now here in Newport Museum, which is in John Frost Square. The Chartists and John Frost paved the way for a fairer democratic system for all that we have today.